Imagine if Africa no longer needed help from Western countries for its energy, industries, or even its future. Imagine small nations like Sierra Leone standing strong, fully independent, and making their own decisions. That could become a reality soon. Recently, Sierra Leone made a bold decision to work with Russia to build nuclear power plants, just like Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. But is this only about energy, or is there something much bigger going on? Let's find out. Africa has always been known for its rich natural resources, from diamonds to gold and oil. Yet, despite these riches, many African countries, including Sierra Leone, have struggled to uplift their economies and improve the living conditions of their people. The big reason behind this paradox is a lack of stable, affordable energy. Without reliable electricity, it's hard for any country to power factories, grow industries, or create jobs. For years, Sierra Leone has had to rely on energy sources that are inconsistent and often controlled by foreign companies. But now, the country is taking a bold step to change all that. Recently, Sierra Leone made headlines by deciding to partner with Russia to build nuclear power plants. This is a significant move, especially for a small West African nation that has long been overshadowed by larger, more powerful countries. But why nuclear power, and why now? The answer is simple. Sierra Leone needs a stable and efficient source of energy to truly kickstart its economy. Nuclear energy is known for being one of the most reliable forms of power, capable of producing electricity consistently without depending on weather conditions like solar or wind power. The problem with relying on traditional energy sources, like oil or coal, is that they are not only expensive, but also heavily influenced by global markets. When prices go up, countries like Sierra Leone suffer because they have to spend more money to import fuel. Meanwhile, renewable sources like solar or wind are not always reliable, especially during the rainy season or times when the wind doesn't blow. Nuclear energy, on the other hand, can provide a steady supply of power regardless of external conditions. That's why it's so appealing to countries looking for long-term solutions to their energy problems. By partnering with Russia, Sierra Leone is hoping to finally break free from the cycle of energy dependency. This kept African countries dependent on imports, which drained their resources. Sierra Leone wants to change that narrative by investing in its energy infrastructure. Nuclear power isn't just about keeping the lights on, it's about giving the country the tools it needs to grow its industries, create jobs, and ultimately, improve the lives of its citizens. The partnership between Sierra Leone and Russia isn't just about electricity, though. When Russia's foreign minister met with Sierra Leone's foreign minister, they discussed a vision that goes beyond just energy. They talked about how nuclear power can be the foundation for a larger plan to boost the country's economy. With a stable energy supply, Sierra Leone can start producing its goods, reducing its reliance on expensive imports. This would mean keeping more money within the country, which could be used to invest in healthcare, education, and other critical areas. Imagine a future where Sierra Leone is not just exporting raw materials like gold and diamonds, but also manufacturing finished products. This would create jobs, increase incomes, and help lift many families out of poverty. But to achieve this dream, the country needs a reliable energy source to power factories and industries. This is where nuclear power comes in. It's not just about creating energy, it's about creating opportunities. However, building nuclear power plants is no small task. It requires a lot of planning, investment, and, most importantly, trust in your partners. That's where Russia comes in. Unlike many Western companies that are mainly interested in quick profits, Russia has shown a willingness to invest in long-term projects. This means that Sierra Leone is not just getting a quick fix, but a partner that is willing to help the country grow over the long term. Russia's state-owned company, Rosatom, has been involved in several nuclear projects in Africa, and they have the experience needed to make this project a success. The decision to work with Russia is also a statement that Sierra Leone is ready to make its own choices, without being pressured by Western countries. For too long, African nations have been told what to do by foreign powers that have their interests at heart. But now, Sierra Leone is saying it's time for a change. By choosing to work with Russia, the country is making it clear that it wants to take control of its future. But what does this mean for the average person in Sierra Leone? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. For many, the idea of nuclear power might sound scary or risky. After all, when people think of nuclear energy, they often think of disasters like Chernobyl. However, modern nuclear technology has come a long way. It is much safer and more efficient than it used to be. Russia has promised to build state-of-the-art facilities that meet the highest safety standards. This means that Sierra Leone can benefit from the power of nuclear energy without the risks that people usually worry about. The benefits of this partnership could be huge. With stable and affordable energy, Sierra Leone could attract more foreign investment. Companies are more likely to set up factories and offices in a country where they know they can get a steady supply of power. This could lead to more jobs and better wages for the people of Sierra Leone. And with more industries, the country can start adding value to its natural resources, rather than just exporting raw materials and buying back expensive finished products. The hope is that this partnership with Russia will not only solve Sierra Leone's energy problems, but also set the stage for a brighter future. The country's leaders are hoping that this is just the beginning of a new era, where Sierra Leone can stand on its own 2 feet without having to rely on the West. By taking control of its energy supply, Sierra Leone is taking a big step towards true independence. But this is just the start of the story. As Sierra Leone moves forward with its plans, it is likely to face challenges. The next big question is how this partnership will impact its relationship with Western countries that have traditionally had a strong influence over Africa. And this leads us to explore why the West is feeling nervous about these new developments. It's because, for decades, Western countries have maintained control over Africa's energy sector, ensuring that the continent remained dependent on their support. Now, with Russia stepping into the picture, that control is slipping, and the West isn't happy about it. To understand why this shift is so significant, we need to look back at how the West has historically dealt with Africa. For years, Western countries have provided aid to African nations, but this aid often came with strings attached. Whether it was loans from the World Bank or development programs funded by Western governments, the help always came with conditions. African leaders were pressured to follow certain economic policies or align with Western political interests. As a result, many African nations found themselves stuck in a cycle of dependency, never fully able to break free. But what if there was another way? That's the question Sierra Leone is now asking by partnering with Russia. The nuclear power deal between Sierra Leone and Russia's state-owned company, Rosatom, is more than just an energy project. It's a statement. It says that Sierra Leone and potentially other African nations are ready to explore new partnerships that don't come with the heavy-handed control of the West. This is exactly what makes the West nervous. For a long time, Western powers controlled Africa's energy supply. They kept African countries dependent on them by providing just enough power to keep things running, but not enough to allow real economic growth. Without stable energy, African nations struggled to build industries, create jobs, or even provide basic services like healthcare and education. This kept them reliant on foreign aid, which in turn kept them under Western influence. Now, Russia is challenging that status quo. At a recent energy conference in South Africa, Rosatom made it clear that they see huge potential in Africa's energy sector. They offered to help African countries, like Sierra Leone, develop nuclear power plants that could provide stable and reliable energy. Nuclear power doesn't rely on changing weather conditions like solar or wind energy, making it a dependable choice. And this isn't just talk. Russia is already investing in nuclear projects across Africa, from Egypt to South Africa. But why would Russia be so interested in helping African countries? For one, it's a strategic move to expand its influence on the continent. Russia knows that Africa is rich in resources and has untapped potential for economic growth. By helping African nations develop their energy infrastructure, Russia is positioning itself as a trusted partner. Unlike the West, which often demands political concessions, Russia is presenting itself as a partner that respects Africa's sovereignty. However, this new partnership is not without its challenges. Western countries are not ready to let go of their influence in Africa so easily. They are well aware that losing control over Africa's energy sector could mean losing access to the continent's vast resources. As a result, there's been growing pressure on African leaders to stay aligned with the West. We're already seeing this pressure play out in diplomatic circles, with Western officials warning African nations about the risks of getting too close to Russia. But African leaders, like those in Sierra Leone, are starting to push back. They see the benefits of working with Russia. Unlike Western aid, which often comes with strict conditions, Russia's support is more straightforward. They offer investment in infrastructure, technology transfer, and long-term development without demanding that African nations change their political systems or economic policies. This shift is not just happening in Sierra Leone. Across the continent, countries are exploring new partnerships that allow them to take control of their resources. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have already made moves to distance themselves from Western powers, turning instead to Russia for support. This trend is growing, and it's becoming clear that the West's influence in Africa is waning. One of the main reasons why Russia's presence in Africa is causing such concern in the West is that it represents a real threat to the existing power structure. For decades, Western countries have had a near monopoly on Africa's resources. They set the rules, and African countries had little choice but to follow them. Now, with Russia offering a different approach, African leaders are realizing they have options. They no longer have to rely on Western loans or aid packages that keep them tied down with debt. But it's not just about the money. It's also about trust. Many African leaders feel that Western countries have not acted in their best interests. They see Russia as a partner that is more willing to respect their sovereignty. This shift in alliances is reshaping the political landscape of Africa. Western leaders are worried that if more African nations choose to partner with Russia, could signal the end of their control over the continent. The West's unease is also fueled by the broader geopolitical rivalry between Western nations and Russia. In the past decade, Russia has been actively expanding its influence in regions where the West has traditionally held sway, such as the Middle East and Africa. By supporting African countries in their quest for energy independence, Russia is gaining allies who are willing to stand up to Western pressure. But this isn't just about geopolitics. For the people of Sierra Leone, this partnership with Russia could mean a real improvement in their everyday lives. If the country can develop its nuclear power plants, it will have the energy needed to power factories, schools, hospitals, and homes. This could lead to more jobs, better wages, and improved living conditions for ordinary people. However, the West isn't giving up without a fight. They're already trying to counter Russia's influence by increasing their investments in Africa. But there's a difference. African leaders are now more aware than ever of the strings that come attached to Western aid. They are becoming more selective, choosing partners who genuinely respect their autonomy. As Sierra Leone moves forward with its plans to build nuclear power plants with Russia, other African countries are watching closely. If this partnership proves successful, it could set a new standard for how African nations engage with the rest of the world. It could inspire other countries to rethink their reliance on Western aid and explore new partnerships that allow them to grow on their terms. So, the real question now is, will this partnership between Sierra Leone and Russia mark the beginning of a new era for Africa? Will other nations follow in Sierra Leone's footsteps, seeking independence from Western influence? This brings us to the heart of the matter: how Africa's vast resources can finally be used for the benefit of its people, not just foreign powers. Despite the abundance of resources, many African countries, including Sierra Leone, struggle with poverty, lack of infrastructure, and limited access to basic services like clean water, healthcare, and electricity. The question is, why? Let's take a closer look at Sierra Leone as an example. The country is blessed with some of the world's richest mineral deposits, including diamonds, which have long attracted the interest of foreign companies. However, instead of bringing prosperity, these resources have often been more of a curse. Most of the profits from Sierra Leone's minerals flow out of the country, leaving behind only environmental damage and a few low-paying jobs. Foreign corporations come in, extract vast amounts of wealth, and then disappear, leaving little behind for the local communities. Sierra Leone's First Lady, Fatima Mata Bio, recently spoke out about this injustice. She pointed out that foreign mining companies sometimes extract up to $100 million worth of minerals from Sierra Leone, but only pay a tiny fraction of that amount back to the government. This small contribution does almost nothing to improve the lives of ordinary Sierra Leoneans. As she put it, how can a country be rich in resources but poor in development? How can a nation with so much wealth still struggle to provide clean drinking water, electricity, or decent healthcare? This is where the partnership with Russia comes in. Unlike Western companies that focus solely on extracting resources, Russia is offering something different: a chance to build long-term, sustainable industries that can benefit Sierra Leone. By investing in nuclear power, Russia is helping Sierra Leone develop the energy infrastructure needed to power factories, create jobs, and add value to its resources. Instead of just exporting raw materials, Sierra Leone can now aim to manufacture finished goods, which would create more jobs and keep more money in the country. Imagine if Sierra Leone could take its raw diamonds, gold, or iron ore and turn them into finished products like jewelry, electronics, or steel right in the country. This would mean that instead of selling raw materials for cheap and buying back expensive products, Sierra Leone could keep the profits from both production and export. This would be a game changer for the country's economy, providing new opportunities for employment and raising the standard of living for its people. But it's not just about creating jobs. Developing industries around Sierra Leone's resources could also mean building new infrastructure, roads, ports, and factories that would benefit the entire country. Right now, many rural areas in Sierra Leone are cut off from basic services because of poor infrastructure. Better roads and reliable energy could connect these areas to the rest of the country, allowing businesses to grow and creating more opportunities for everyone. However, the challenges are significant. For years, Western companies have dominated Sierra Leone's mining sector, and they are not eager to see their influence wane. These companies have built powerful networks within the country, making it hard for new players like Russia to enter the market. But the government of Sierra Leone seems determined to break free from the old ways. By turning to Russia for support, they are sending a clear message. Sierra Leone wants to take control of its resources and use them to benefit its people. One of the biggest problems Sierra Leone faces is the lack of energy needed to run industries. Even if the country wanted to process its raw materials, it doesn't have the stable electricity supply needed to power factories. That's why the nuclear power plants being built with Russia's help are so crucial. With a reliable source of energy, Sierra Leone can finally start to industrialize. Factories can run at full capacity. Businesses can operate without interruptions, and new investments can flow into the country. There's also the issue of technology and skills. For years, African nations have been stuck exporting raw materials because they lack the technology and know-how to process them. But through its partnership with Russia, Sierra Leone can gain access to advanced technology and expertise in nuclear energy, engineering, and manufacturing. This knowledge transfer could help train a new generation of Sierra Leoneans who are skilled in modern industries. These skills will not only benefit the country now, but also set it up for future growth. It's not just about economic independence, though. By taking control of its resources, Sierra Leone is also reclaiming its political independence. For too long, foreign companies and governments have dictated the terms under which African countries could use their resources. This kept nations like Sierra Leone dependent on outside help and prevented them from truly standing on their own. But now, with the support of Russia, Sierra Leone is in a position to make its own decisions about its future. Still, there are risks involved. But if Sierra Leone can succeed, it could set an example for other African nations. By using its resources to create industries and jobs, rather than just exporting raw materials, Sierra Leone could show the rest of the continent a new way forward. This could inspire other countries to rethink their relationships with foreign powers and start to demand better deals that benefit their people. The potential is enormous. Africa has the resources, the people, and now, increasingly, the partnerships needed to build a bright future. The question is, whether African leaders will seize this moment or let it slip away. If Sierra Leone succeeds, it could spark a wave of change that spreads across the continent. Do you think Africa is no longer allowing other nations to control it? Let us know in the comment section. Do you support these African nations owing their resources? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.